How do you feel? Like, obviously, people associate the two of your names, you with Manny Pacquiao. Do you feel like long after you both retire, you'll still be associated with each other?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, you know, the thing is, we're going to go maybe down, I hope, in history as one of the best duos ever. And I'm quite proud of Manny Pacquiao. He's an 8-time world champion. I don't think that record will be broken in my lifetime, at least.
Okay.
Hey, you know, Freddie, don't worry about it. You're going to be talked about going down as one of the all-time greats. A little different than when you were in the gym trying to make you work when you first came to L.A.
Yes.
But Freddie, let me ask you something. Manny's had over 30 title fights. But this particular fight, he seems really zeroed in. As Keith was obviously trying to talk up the fight, get under Manny's skin. Has that worked for Keith? Has he done what he wanted to do?
It's really good for Manny because I've seen this before, and Manny, he gets a little bit angry about it and stuff like that, but not over angry. But it just lights a little bit of fire under him and wakes him up a little bit, and he goes out there a little bit more aggressive, and I like when Manny's more aggressive.
But we've seen you kind of pop back at Keith a few times. Has he gotten under your skin, Freddie?
I just don't like when Manny does anything back a little bit, so I always got to throw my piece in there somewhere. And Manny tells me to be nice sometimes, but sometimes I can't be.
I mean, one of the things he said is that Manny is old news, that there is a new generation of welterweights, which you would belong to, Danny. How do you feel about him saying that?
Well, there is a new generation of welterweights, of course, and you know, Manny's 40 years old, but I mean, if Manny was like, if he was shot, I would be the first one to tell him. When Manny's all done, we have an agreement that, you know, once I see him slowing down, so I will tell him to retire. But he's not quite there yet.
So Freddie, before the fight, there was talks of Manny Pacquiao choosing a fight between me, Danny Garcia, or Keith Thurman. A lot of fans want to know why you guys chose Thurman instead of me.
I really don't know where that came from because I don't make those decisions, okay? But I was thinking about Mikey Garcia myself because I thought they were a better fight together with each other. But you know, it ended up being with Thurman. But it wasn't my choice, so I don't know where that really came from. But okay. But you'll be a suitable opponent, of course.
Suitable, I love that. But you know what, man, Freddie, your words, you got some. Did you see Fox stole your words? They said you're the one who said he may be called one time, but Manny's all time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You said that, and the Fox put that up there like they said.
We thought it sounded nice. We're trying to roll with it.
So Freddie, I have one more question. What does Manny have to prove? Like he's won so many world titles. He's won millions of dollars. He's been at the top of the game. He's a senator. Like, why? What does he have to prove? Why is he still fighting?
You know, he doesn't really have to prove anything, and he knows that. But the thing is, you know, boxing's still what he does best. Without boxing, all the you know, the Congress and the senator, that goes away. You know, and I really think deep down somewhere inside me that Manny wants to be the first president, world champion in the world.
Do you feel like Keith is potentially underestimating Manny Pacquiao? He's talked about his defense. He said he's not technical. I mean, he's really gone at him a number of different things. He said, I've been in the ring with fighters with similar styles. Do you think he underestimates what it is to be in the ring with Manny?
Well, I think he's underestimating, but then all he has to do is really watch his last fight and compare that himself to Manny Pacquiao, because he looked terrible in that last fight. I mean, that was a terrible fight for him, and you know, I watched his last 3 fights, to be honest with you, studying the game plan for this guy, and he's not that complicated. I don't think he's that hard to fight. You know, Freddie,
Danny might think differently.
Yeah, I mean, he's fast and he's strong, but I felt the same way when I was in there. You know, I felt like I won the fight when I fought him, but it's definitely different styles, and I think Manny Pacquiao has a good enough style. It reminds me when he fought Cotto. You know, the lateral movement, you know, the punching in both hands, and Manny handled him well. So I think stylistically it's a great fight for Manny.
Yeah, and you know, Manny's footwork is really good. I think that's going to be a big part of this fight. A lot of people talk about his speed, and I like the speed and the footwork mostly, not just his hands. His footwork is really good, and I think that will overwhelm his opponent.
I mean, it's such an interesting journey that the two of you have been on together, you and Manny. Just an incredible record together, dating back all the way 18 years ago is when it all started. You put together one of the best boxing resumes in history. 20 fights, 15 wins, 7 title earned. You split 2 years ago, then you reunited for Pacquiao's win over Adrian Broner that was back in January. How did you feel when you were on the outside looking in? What did you struggle with?
You know, when we had such a long career together, and I couldn't be mad at him. I mean, he was always good to me and so forth. And then when I got fired for that one fight, it just, well, to be honest with you, I pay pay-per-view just like everyone else, and I watched the fight, and I wanted to see Manny as a fan, and I watched the fight, and he did really well. And I remember when the announcer said, "I wonder if Freddie Roach has watched the fight." And little did he know that I have his phone number, and I called him and said, "Yes, Freddie's watching the fight."
Did you feel good when you watched the fight? Were you confident that they would bring you back in?
No, that's not why I watched the fight. I watched the fight just to be a fan, because I wanted to see how he's doing and what he was up to, and he fought a very good fight that night. I thought he did very well. And you know, a couple months later, I did get a phone call, and they would meet me at the hotel, and 10 minutes later, we're back together. But it was one of those things where I was just trying to give him some advice about being a senator and a boxer at the same time is very difficult. You know, so I thought maybe it might be too much. I said maybe you should choose one or the other. And I was just trying to give him good advice, but he didn't take it that way.
Listen, as a fan, it's great to see you both reunited. Thank you so much for dropping by. We really appreciate it. It's good to see you. Best of luck on Saturday night. Thank you for watching. Well, if you enjoyed that clip, make sure you click somewhere around here and subscribe. From fight highlights to exclusive interviews, we have got everything you need as a boxing fan right here on PBC on Fox.